The Arizona Cardinals finally filled a massive need, and they did it in a very, very big way, getting Chase Bisontis, the offensive guard, out of Texas A&M with the 34th overall pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. Welcome into Cardinals Today. My name is Joey Peterson. Today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. We got a full scouting breakdown of Chase Bisontis. I'm going to tell you exactly why I feel like this was the perfect pick at this point for Arizona. Speaking of these picks, there are going to be a lot more that come in over the next 24 hours. So make sure you are subscribed because we got free Cardinals news analysis every pick, every round. We got you covered here on Cardinals Today. So make sure to lock us in. And again, hit that free sub button down below. Now, one of the reasons I believe this is such a great pick for Arizona is you know for a fact that this team needed interior offensive line, and they needed it really badly. And the thing about the offensive guard class is after Bisontis and Pregnon today, there becomes a massive, massive decline when it comes to these offensive guards. And so if you're not going to get one at 34, I don't think you're going to be able to get one that's a starter year one in the National Football League. And that's exactly what Chase Bisontis is, because guess what? At A&M, he had 35 career starts. Now, he's definitely got to cut back on those penalties, 16 over the last 2 years, 8 each of the last 2 seasons. But, man, this is a guy that you are going to be able to rely on in pass blocking and in run blocking. Dane Brugler says Bisontis is a burly, sawed-off blocker with a body quickness and core strength to get the upper hand in all phases. He projects as an eventual NFL starter and has traits that will speak to both zone and power schemes. And at this point, what you see Mike LaFleur and the Arizona Cardinals doing is building an offense that is built to have success in year one of whoever their future quarterback is. Obviously, we know that that guy is not Jacoby Brissett, and that guy is not one Gardner Minshew. That guy could be coming later in this draft. Who knows? Maybe they take a chance on a guy like Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, Carson Beck. I don't know. But most likely, I feel like the plan is to beef up your skill positions like you did yesterday with Jeremiyah Love, to beef up that offensive line. That way, whoever you do get either this year or next year, he's going to be able to come right in and have a really, really competent offense already surrounding him. Because this league is about 2 things. Number one, it is about protecting the quarterback. And number 2, it is about getting after the quarterback. And they're choosing to protect the quarterback with this selection right here of Chase Bisontis. And again, it, to me, comes at the perfect time. Because any offensive guards taken outside of this round, I don't think that they have a first-year starter potential in the National Football League. And that's exactly what Bisontis does. He also, I know this doesn't matter as much when it comes to offensive linemen, really good athlete as well. I think his RAS score was somewhere around, 9.85 RAS score. And again, I get it. He's an offensive lineman. That's not the end-all, be-all, nor should it be. But 540 flat, 29 reps on the bench press, shuffle 4.78, 3-cone 7.53. One of my favorite things about Chase Bisontis is when you look in the film, you know how some guys look lost in space, right? When they're pulling, when you're asking them to go on the run, get to that second level. They look like they don't know where they're going. They don't look like athletes. Chase Bisontis is the exact opposite. He looks comfortable in those situations where you have to operate in open space. And when you get a running back like Jeremiyah Love in here, you better believe being able to run the football and get your guards out ahead of your running backs is going to be a big part of what Mike LaFleur is bringing to Arizona. Something that we are bringing to you guys is $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup with our code HMA. The PrizePicks app. Shout out to our sponsor of today's show. And with playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at PrizePicks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. All you got to do is pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. If you're a hoops guy, you can go with points, rebounds, assist blocks, or 3-pointers. If you're more of a seam head, you can choose hits, home runs, or strikeouts. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature where you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can follow me on the app at jpeterson8 to see all of my lineups. One also really cool thing about PrizePicks is they already have projections for guys you saw get drafted last night. I took the less on Fernando Mendoza, 6.5 regular season games started. I took the less on Jeremiyah Love, unfortunately, 975.5 rush yards. And I took the more on Jordan Tyson, 799.5 rush yards, 20 to win 120. So new users, download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with PrizePicks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description of today's video. That is the Cardinals' second selection of the day. They will be choosing again later on. Of course, we got to wait another full round and 30-plus picks to get to that one. But I do want to run it back with my opinion on Jeremiyah Love, because you've seen a lot of hosts talk about Jeremiyah Love. And at the end of the day, what Arizona decided to do was go best player available. And if you wanted to do that, then Jeremiyah Love was the right selection because he was the best player available. And I do believe, truly, in my heart of hearts, that Arizona wanted to trade back. Okay? But that's the thing, is it takes two to tango. You could be upset that they didn't move back all you wanted to, but you have to have somebody that's willing to move up to be able to do that. I think they looked at Arvell Reese, and I think they looked at him as a massive project. Sure, he might have a high ceiling, but I think they see somebody like Jeremiyah Love that is going to be your lead back, your star back, year one. That is going to be able to help this offense not only in what he's able to do on the ground, but also through the air. 280 receiving yards last year. He does everything well. He's lightning fast, hard to get down. So was it the best pick by Arizona? No, I don't think so. But that does not mean they're not getting a hell of a player. You can hate the selection at the time. Sure, you can have your opinions about that. But if you don't believe Jeremiyah Love's going to be a star at this level, then I disagree with you. So they have addressed one of their biggest needs, but still you got to look at offensive tackle, quarterback, edge rusher as well. I'm very interested to see what their future is at quarterback. I am not very convinced on anybody in this draft class outside of the two guys that have already gone in both Ty Simpson and of course, Fernando Mendoza. But that doesn't mean there still aren't some really good players still available. Let's just go quarterbacks and then offensive tackle and edge rushers out of here. Then we'll get out of here, Gage. Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, Taylon Green, Cole Payton still all on the board. Of course, these are our lead draft analyst Tom Downey's rankings. Carson Beck is getting some love from some insiders around the National Football League as a guy to look out to get drafted today. I frankly don't see that. Matt Miller actually had Carson Beck going to Arizona in this round at pick 34. Thank the Lord that did not happen. Any of the rest of these guys, especially Haynes King, I'm not spending a draft pick on. A lot of good top guards available. Let's go tackles, Gage, because they just got a guard. Caleb Tiernan, Travis Burke, Jude Bowery, Austin Barber, Diego Pounds, Markel Bell, Drew Shelton, Isaiah World. Those are your top 8 tackles still available. Unfortunately, there was a massive run on tackles in the first round, and you missed out on some really good ones. Pounds and Bell maybe are the two guys on that list that I am highest on. I'm not massively high on Isaiah World, and that's just it what it is. You kind of missed out on the offensive tackle trade. And Gage, let's do edge rushers before we get out of here. And then as far as the edge rushers go, I feel like maybe early round 3, you're going to be able to get a good guy that falls to you, but you're probably going to start seeing a run on edges at some point in this round. You still got Cassius Howe, R. Mason Thomas, Zion Young, Gabe Akis, all still available. They're going to go in the second, though. Maybe Deniden Sutton falls to the third. Romello Height, Derek Moore, I would not be that upset with. But I think you got to kind of, get on the knees and pray for some of those guys to fall to you in the third round. Grade the Cardinals' pick of Chase Bisontis down below in the comments section. Prove to me that you know ball, Cardinals fans. We will be back again later today with another video recapping the third round pick, pairing that up with a little bit of draft grades from earlier today. But me personally, look, I'm giving this one an A. I think this is a great pick. I think it's LaFleur's best pick so far for Arizona. Cannot wait to see Bisontis being a cornerstone on the interior of this offensive line for years to come. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you next time. Go Cardinals.